Prior to the release of its own main battle tank, Israel tirelessly modernized European and American armored vehicles, customizing them to their specific needs. Of course, such a widely produced tank as a Sherman couldn't avoid such upgrades. But at the time, it wasn't possible for Israel to make it on their own, so France came to the rescue. This was how the solid 75mm CN-7550 cannon appeared on a fine American tank. The new name, M-50 Super Sherman, was quite suitable for this vehicle. After the war in 1956, its modernization continued, and once again the French government helped out a lot in this matter. Now, the 105mm cannon, originally designed for the AMX-30, became part of the good old Sherman. Several modifications had to be made, including shortening the barrel, adding a muzzle brake, and placing a large counterweight on the turret. The new version became known as M-51 Super Sherman or I Sherman, Israel Sherman, and we're going to test one. Sherman M-51W is one of the Israel premium military combat vehicle. As opposed to the upgraded M-51, this version has a welded rather than a cast armored hull and includes a high-caliber machine gun on the turret. Armament. The tank's most powerful feature in the 105mm M-51 cannon, with a reloaded time of 7.5 seconds and an ammo capacity of 56 rounds. There are three types of armor to choose from: hit, with a penetration of 400mm, high explosive, and smoke. The gun is very powerful, though its ballistics are a bit unpredictable. It will take some getting used to, but otherwise the tank can hit any target at pretty much any distance. Additional armament is represented by two machine guns, twinned with a 7.62mm gun and anti-aircraft 12.7mm on turret, with an ammo capacity of 4,750 and 600 rounds respectively. Layout. This one is the same as for the classic Sherman. The radio operator and the driver are at the front of the hull, and the commander, the gunner and the loader are in the turret. The central part of the fighting compartment, however, is packed to capacity with high-caliber ammunition from the floor to the turret. Don't worry though, the hull won't be penetrated more than once. Survivability. It's low, even though the armor is there. It's 107mm in the transmission area and 63mm at good angles in the rest of the hull's front. Those plus a gun mantlet covering almost the entire turret. And 51mm sights could withstand the hits of the early and middle World War II guns. But our Sherman usually fights in a light higher league than the American M4A3, and its armor can protect only at a very long distance or if the tank catches a ricochet round. Mobility. With a max cruising speed of 38 km per hour, slow acceleration even on hard ground, and reverse at 5 km per hour, it's capable of turning on the spot on a single track. So don't forget to give a slight push forward before turning, as it'll be much faster. In general, mobility is satisfactory, especially considering that we don't have an assault tank on our hands, but a primary support weapon. Use in battle. Unlike the M4A3-76 of the US military, which is a workhorse with a similar BR, the M51 Sherman is more of a classic example of the glass cannon. Mobility and armor are not sufficient for swift attacks on the front line, but it's equipped with an excellent gun suitable for firing at any distance. Therefore, your main task and strategy is second-line support or ambush tactics. The gunner's main trouble will be the curved fire trajectory. Despite the gun's length, the projectile flies in a notable arc, and at first you'll have to get used to shooting. If the target is stationary, we'd recommend using range finding to your advantage, so as not to become discovered with performing trial shots. Otherwise, there is a chance you'll draw return fire before hitting the enemy. The second important factor is the hull's notable longitudinal rocking on starting and stopping, as sometimes you might lose the valuable seconds in taking aim. So in long-range skirmishes, it's better either not to move at all or shoot from the side, because from this position you can't feel the rocking, but can change position and save time on fine-tuning the aiming. This rocking is also not an asset in the close combat, so you shouldn't approach the enemy directly. If the enemy expects you, you obviously won't be the fastest shooter in the Wild West, or you'll have to fire on the move, and this can also end badly. Better lie in wait for the enemy or flank them. In conclusion, the Sherman M-51W is not the easiest tank to master, but it is a very powerful weapon that can be put to good use in combat. And it'll especially appeal to M4A376 drivers who will be able to take revenge on their impenetrable opponents. Read more about the Sherman M51W on the War Thunder Wiki, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.